The small matter of an international pandemic has done its best to thwart today's events. We are hugely grateful for the East Coast Cinema who've managed social distancing so fantastically, and also to the Kirkley Centre for hosting this live question and answer session before the premiere screening. We've also had messages of support from Lady Euston, the Queen's representative in Suffolk, and Peter Aldous MP, who can't be here today because he's chairing a select committee at Westminster, but both hugely support the film and the positive messages it puts across. Whilst we're having our conversation, Rebecca Osborne, a graphic artist, is going to be sketching what we're talking about, and also the film itself. You can see her work on display in the foyer at the East Coast Cinema throughout the day. So now please welcome the film's director, Joshua Freemantle, and its executive producer, Phil Aves. Hello, both of you. Well,
hello there.
Josh, I suppose you thought today would possibly never happen.
I certainly did at a point, but it was very great to finally be here today, and for people this afternoon and this evening to come and watch the final film itself in the East Coast Cinema.
So why did you feel there was a need to tell Lowestoft's story?
So as I've said lots today, it was March last year when I went to Phil and Rachel. I was just ending my time at the final year in high school, starting my GCSEs, and I was thinking I really want to create a documentary. So I went to Phil and I said, I really want to create this about my hometown. I want to create it on Lowestoft, celebrating the past, documenting the present, and looking towards the future. And we went from there. I think you thought I was a bit mad first, didn't you?
Yeah.
Well, I saw a preview of the film a week ago, and one of the things that really struck me was all of the small organisations that are working so hard to make things better in the town. Phil, tell me what Lowestoft Rising is.
So I often describe Lowestoft Rising as the statutory sort of partnership between a number of the big players in Lowestoft, the councils, the police, the health people. But our role is really not to do anything. It is persuading everyone else who's got the best skill set and the best assets to do the work for us. So, a classic example of that is Josh comes along and wants to do a video in the documentary of Lowestoft at a time when we really need to be shouting about Lowestoft and the good things. So, whilst I thought he was very brave and a little mad, it was also really important. It was the right time. So we put our sort of full weight behind it to really support, find some funding, get everyone else involved. And again, as you've said, all the small organisations came together to want to have their say, have their part in it, and really help show what Lowestoft's all about. Lots and lots of good things.
And the film is a very positive message. I mean, I learned a lot about the history of the town that I didn't know before, and I grew up here. But also, it's a very optimistic message, isn't it?
It is an optimistic message, and it takes us all the way back to the history and brings us back right up to date. Yes, you learn quite a lot, and I think that's really important, that people hopefully will go away saying, I never knew that about Lowestoft, which is really important. But yeah, it is important that we get that message out there that there are really good things happening. And the documentary does that, and it does it in a really positive, warm way, and I hope people really enjoy that.
And we should say that since filming finished, lots of the projects that you talk about and the people you talk to, they've really come on, haven't they? Such as the third crossing. Yeah,
we've got the third crossing's been approved now. The 43 million for the flood defences, which was a bit of a dream, is now reality. Carlton Marsh's Visitor Centres is just about to open. The Nest Park is developing. CFAS is building, has sprung into life. And people are getting on, despite COVID and everything else, getting on to make things happen, which is great. And what the history of the town tells you, the Lowestoft always survives.
What was the trickiest thing in making the film, Josh?
Well, I think even Phil knows that from me, is getting people actually wanting to be involved in the project and letting me film them. We had various organisations that feature in the film that, it wasn't easy as you would have hoped to get them on board.
It's quite intimidating having a camera pointed in your face, so people wouldn't have been used to that.
Oh yes, yeah, I totally understand that, and I hated it myself when I had to do my part. You know, you watch the film, I'm opening it at this point, and then ending it at this point. And Phil helped that. You were my best boy for the day, holding the mic. But it was a real team effort, that came together to create what you see on the big screen.
And you were talking about Nest Point. The park development there is wonderful, isn't it? Because that's the part of the town that my family live in. And there's going to be a bridge connecting Nest Point. Is that right?
That's right. The bridge is now built and being finished off. So the bridge from the park up onto the sea wall, which then allows you to walk to the most easterly point and access it in a decent way, and then come back into a lovely park. That's the plan, and it's going to plan at the moment.
What do you think local people watching the film will be most surprised to learn, possibly that they didn't know before?
I think, one of the main things, as you touched on, the history. People, are really starting to have more of a keen interest in the history as well. And this documentary, I've always billed it as the well-deserved story for Lowestoft. And this, it really is a big story highlighting, key important bits about the town history. And making, as you said, informing people about the groups within the town that are coming together to, like restore the scores at the top of the high street and stuff like that. And, like I've always said to Phil, and I think Phil said it himself, it would be lovely for this to act as, an extended promotional video to really help boost the town and bring it in front of people's eyes that, have either got the wrong perceptions about the Britain's most easterly town or have never heard about Lowestoft before, and for me, living here, I'd love, to see it be this new Brighton. You wouldn't want it to be too packed on the beach, but get that right.
But I think what the First Light Festival proved, and we'll hear about this in the film, is that there were lots of local people, and I mean in the surrounding area, perhaps people from Norwich or maybe just 30 miles away, who'd never really been to the town and explored the town.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think we saw that in First Light, and we're hoping that Joshua's hard work in the documentary will encourage others to come and have a look. The Heritage Open Days, the new park, come to First Light next year. All those things and experience. What we know, and paying credit to Josh's hard work, what his documentary now tells everyone else. But Lowestoft has masses to offer, and it's a really exciting place.
Well, of course, lots of people have generously given their time freely to make this film, but films do cost money to make. They're a technical cost, and you've had a lot of support, haven't you? Yeah,
we have. I think that's the art of Lowestoft Rising, really, to work with our colleagues across a whole range of councils and voluntary organisations to get them to help and support us, either by financially, which is really important, but also helping, like East Coast Cinema. You really got to pay tribute to them to help us to get to the stage, to be able to put the premiere on. The Marina helped us as much as they could along the journey, and that's what's happened. People have helped, and people always seem to help when you go with the right approach. I do pay credit to Josh, because he's done the filming in such a positive way that people have enjoyed it and people haven't felt intimidated. And I hope when they see the product, they'll know that he's done the town proud. Really.
And I know you also want to thank the East Anglian Art Fund, Lowestoft Rising, Making Waves Together, East Suffolk Council and the Kirkley People's Forum. So thank you to all of those organisations who've pitched in to make this film possible. So finally, what do you both hope the film will achieve? Phil?
I hope that people will go away from the film, have enjoyed it, have learnt something about it, about Lowestoft that they didn't know, and tell others about it. And so actually we have more people who want to see the film, because if the film is in demand, we can put it on again, and so more and more people see it and celebrate Lowestoft. So Josh, tell us where we can find out more information about future screenings and also the development of the film.
Yeah, you can visit our website, lifeoflowestoft.co.uk. On there we have, a section about the project, more about it, some frequently asked questions. But then also, if you go to our screening section, you'll find where we're screening it on there. You know, next month in October we're having 2 screenings at the Laceham Film Theatre, for example. You know, and I didn't expect that to happen. So that's, you know, it's really nice for another independent cinema to, you know, to approach me and say, you know, I want to screen your film. So we will have that information on there, and then also in the future, if we ever have it online anywhere, that will be there for people to go and visit.
Well, Josh, Phil, thank you very much. Thank you if you've been watching us online, and those conversations can continue using the hashtag Life of Lowestoft on Twitter. And if you're now about to watch the film, enjoy the feature presentation.